So we wait a little bit to make sure that the stream is on. Maybe you guys can let us know in the comments if you hear us and see us okay. Yeah, but I think we should be on now. So, welcome everyone to a brand new episode of Rocket Lab Weekly. This is episode 94. Ooh, we have Amit Kukreya in the house. What's up, Amit?
Shout out to AK Media.
So yeah, the stock price did an unbelievable move this week, and I mean, I think this whole last year has been unbelievable. And I wanted to do a celebration episode, and it's only fitting, actually. The two other guys that I love very, very much. Oh my God! Thank you, Amit.
Thank you, Amit. Much appreciated, brother.
Yeah. So I think it was only fitting that I do this episode with you, Matt, because you're an OG. Like I started Rocket Lab Weekly with you, yeah, it's back to the roots. So how is everybody doing? I heard that Curtis is depressed because of the stock price. So is anybody else as depressed as Curtis?
Are you asking me specifically, or are you asking the chat?
I'm asking the chat, but you go ahead and tell me how you're doing.
I mean, I can hear where people are upset. I mean, the stock has run very well, but I think it's a great testament to the great hardworking people at Rocket Lab. It's a great testament to what Sir Peter Beck and Adam Spice have been working on for I mean, the whole team as a whole have been working on it for decades at this point. So it's great to see it kind of really start to bear fruit, right? I mean, if you asked us 18 to 24 months ago, we would just said, is this a $2 billion company? And you probably would have been scratching your head and said, no, it doesn't make sense. Why is it trading at a $2 billion market cap valuation? Well, you know, that's why we were investing, right? I mean, it didn't make sense. The potential of it was enormous. And, you know, you and I saw that. And maybe you could say, with what the prospects are, with where the company is at today, maybe a little bit stretched in terms of valuation, but the potential of the company and where we are in terms of knowledge about space and the potential of total addressable market and everything like that is still very much undetermined. And so to me, it shows the testament that people believe in a great future within space. They believe in Sir Peter Beck. They believe in the employees. They believe in Adam Spice. They believe in the acquisitions that they're doing. So for people that are upset, you know, I get it. The stock prices run up. Maybe you didn't have the opportunity to buy in. And I'm sure in 5-6 months, you know, people are touting now, oh, it's $50. I'm sure you'll be able to buy back in at the $30s or $40 range, right? I'm not saying or asking people to sell or doing anything like that. And I can't tell you or do anything, right? It's your personal finance, your personal portfolio. But at the end of the day, I think it's a great opportunity to see what the underlying potential of this company could be. Now, is it a little bit far-fetched of a price right now? Maybe. You know, I don't necessarily think it's undervalued, overvalued from where it is today. I think, you know, the future of this company is extremely bright. So the value or market cap and whether it's expensive or cheap is in the eye of the beholder. But it just goes to show that it's definitely worth more than $2 billion, like it was 24 months ago.
A little bit more, just slightly more.
Thank you, Curtis, for the 5 gifted. Much appreciated, brother.
Yeah, thank you, Curtis. He has gifted both 5 memberships to your channel and my channel. And Curtis, very big supporter of the channel. I think he's also an OG. He has been here from Rocket Lab Weekly episode number 1. So shout out to you. Yeah. Isn't it funny that this week started? I just want to show. This is how the week started. And Rocket Lab is so freaking bullish that it defied the inverse Kramer effect. And we went up 25% in basically a straight line after Jim Cramer posted this. So that's super bullish, no? When your stock defies the Jim Cramer effect. And it's very interesting that you were speaking about the valuation. I actually, since I respect you very much for being a very long-term investor and very level-headed, and you know, I have had this issue in the past that you know, I very easily see when a company is undervalued. Like I had it happen with Palantir and with Rocket Lab, and then you know, you do your models and valuations. I'm sure a lot of people are in the same shoes as me. And then, you know, you get like, in Palantir, we were buying in the sixes, and then I got like a price target of like, you know, $30 in a very, very, very bullish case, you know. And then the stock hit $30 without hitting any of the production milestones, you know, that like I set out for it. And then I was like, okay, this is getting a bit like scary for me, because the stock feels like it's like it proved out my thesis, or, you know, like the price played out, but not really the production targets in the model has played out, you know. And then when the stock went to like 50, 60, I was like, okay, I'm like, it's amazing that Palantir is valued so much, but I'm not really like, I don't get what's driving the stock. And then I get really like, okay, what makes you hold the stock, you know, or how do you change your thesis, or how do you think about this? And I think Rocket Lab is different. Like my, if you guys go back on the channel, my original price target for Rocket Lab, I think, was like $30 in 2029 or something like this. And we completely blew past that. And you know, that price target was assuming, you know, revenue in the billions, you know, Neutron launching, the constellation beginning, and the price compared to that is like 50 plus. But we are not there. And on top of it, there is a lot of other bullish things that I never modeled in. Like, for example, you know, this fight with, you know, the like Musk and Trump. And I think that will give billions of dollars in extra contract to Rocket Lab. Scotto actually discovered a new Haste contract, which for me is basically like proof of concept that Europe is open to business, and they want to catch up to space. And I think that's billions of dollars of contracts that will come from Europe. And so I just want to know, like, how do you justify, you know, not selling, and do you remodel, or how do you do in these situations?
This is why I hate giving price targets, because people are like, oh, so it hit $30, right? You said $30, you're gonna sell? And it's like, dude, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're trying to hit a moving target, right? I mean, these are living organisms. So to be able to put them in a box like that is kind of very arbitrary to an extent. And so it was always like the same thing with Palantir. You know, people are like, oh, so you thought Palantir was you know, going to be expensive at $50 and you never sold. Like, what's it? And it's like, well, I also initially, when I bought Palantir back in September 2020, thought it was going to be a $200 billion company. I said anywhere between 100 and 200 billion. But then you learn more as the company expands, as the company matures, as you understand more, you do further due diligence, you understand more about the industry. You know, there's the falsifying and lying to yourself, and then there's the actual true deepening of what you understand. And sometimes when you get too in depth with things, you understand that, you know, you don't know anything, right? Which is kind of the space where I'm at. It's like, I really truly don't know anything with respect to this space. I could try to claim that I reviewed things and done the due diligence, etc., but there's so much potential that's going on right now that it's very, very difficult. So I think everyone wants to think about investing as ones and zeros, and it's very gray and it's very personal. And I hate when people kind of try to put you in a box of being like, oh, if you're trimming, you're a bear. You know, that's why I made this joke, right? I have the name Matt is bearish this week, right? I'm not at all bearish. In fact, I made a great announcement that, you know, I plan on holding Rocket Lab for the very long future, hopefully until they actually start selling, or not selling, buying back shares and having dividends. But the thought process is, to me, is it's like, you know, it really is dependent upon your objectives, your time horizons, your personal, you know, criteria for your own self, not necessarily. And I think Curtis is here until your goals are met, right? What are your goals? Your goals aren't, you know, for you or just for you and not for anybody else in particular, right? Why would I be like, oh, Matt's selling, I should sell too? It's like, well, Matt might be wanting to buy a boat, you know, and that's an arbitrary thing that Matt wants to buy. Doesn't mean that you have to sell, right? I mean, I've known people that have sold in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, and I'm okay with it, because I knew a guy that just wanted to buy his wife a new Lexus. He bought his wife a new Lexus. He was very excited. He walked up to me at work and he was like, Matt, thank you. You helped pay for a portion of my wife's new Lexus. Excited, right? We've had people message me that maybe not just for Rocket Lab, but other things, being like the great companies that we've invested in, the great people that are working at these companies that eventually shows up in the stock price, you know, have allowed them to pay for their honeymoon, have allowed them to retire early, have done a lot of this. So to me, it really depends on what your goals are. It doesn't necessarily matter what my goals are, right? The reason, anyway, I'll get off my soapbox, but there's a reason why I'm selling or I'm not selling, and we can get into that. But anyway, different story for a different day. I don't know if that answered your question or not.
I think it did. So if you feel like this, like what you see here, when you're trimming your Rocket Lab position, that's not a good sign, right?
Sorry, what's the question?
You see the tweet that is up on the screen?
Yeah, I don't see how it's relevant.
No, it was like a joke, right? That if you feel like this when you're trimming your Rocket Lab position, then that's wrong, right? Like then you're in a cold stock and you're like not holding for the right reasons. Like you should, reach your goals, and then it's a free world. Like it shouldn't be that people get upset that you're trimming and yeah.
I'm trying to relate to the tweet and what I'm saying, and I'm
no problem. It was a joke that didn't land. I was
I'm not smart enough to understand it.
No, because you see, like Scotto posted this, which I thought was like super funny. Like forgive me, Peter, for I have.
Yes, this was good. This was good. I thought it was funny.
And I wanted to make a meme, like this is what Rocket Lab investors feel like when they trim, and then like this caught on the camera, and then they're like, no, not me. Anyways.
Oh, I get it now. Okay, sorry. Yes, sorry. Finally it landed. Yeah, sorry. I'm a little dense.
Okay. No problem. Cool. So back to the topic. I do want to celebrate in this episode, and I think once we're done with this week's news and stuff, then I want to see if there is some of you who want to come on, because like sometimes I almost get teary-eyed when I like read through some of the investor clubs, like how many millionaires Rocket Lab minted, and like how many lives were changed, because sometimes insanely small investments. Insanely small, but I mean, like there was one guy who put like $53,000 and he became a millionaire just from Rocket Lab, and there is very, very crazy stories of people making life-changing and sometimes generation-changing wealth from Rocket Lab, and I think this deserves a celebration. It doesn't happen all that often. Matt, you have been investing for a very, very long time, so how often do your stocks 10x in under a year?
No, I mean, very, very rarely. I don't know if it's been just a year, but yeah, regardless, 10x in general, very rare. And excited to be a part of it, and at least get to have even a smidgen of what's the word I'm looking for? Ability to be able to provide a light into such a great company, right? I mean, we're not the ones doing any work. The ones at the organization are the ones doing the work and putting in the hard efforts and putting things into the sky. But to at least open people's eyes to it, it's been an absolute pleasure, because otherwise the great news about such a great organization may have gone, slightly less covered. And so it's just been an absolute blast, and I'm glad that people were able to believe in Peter's mission and have been able to be supportive of what they're doing at the company.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable how far we have come with this company. I mean, when we were first investing, people were thinking that we're crazy, and I got a lot of hate comments for investing in Rocket Lab.
They were asking what kind of interest rate we would get, what type of loans. They do 10-year, 20-year, 30. And I was like, this isn't Rocket Mortgage, right? This is Rocket Lab, different company.
Exactly. So cool. And I just want to address, before we start the week, one thing which I feel like I have to do. So like I've been attacked last week, sort of on Twitter. I clearly caused some or put some sand in certain people's lady parts, and I just want to address it. So Because apparently I'm a Rocket Lab bear. Apparently I cover a lot of stocks, and I throw spaghetti on the wall, and then like this stock happened to 10x, and I'm like riding this wave. And I've been selling call options to my audience, which is supposedly bad. Like the people who bought my call options made millions of dollars. So I think that's pretty good for my audience. I'm actually quite sure that Francisco Ramirez has some of my call options. So yes, I mean, it's true that I did sell cover calls on Rocket Lab, and it's clearly it has been like a crazy mistake. And in my defense, like I was new to option trading, I didn't fully understand certain things, and also Rocket Lab did something that nobody expected it to do. Because like when you sell these options, I had no intentions to actually get rid of my shares, because you can roll options, and I was able to roll these options up to $15 in sales price. And remember, I was buying Rocket Lab at $4, so that's like almost a 4x of the stock price.
Phenomenal.
But because nobody was expecting, so that this fact makes me bearish, right? The fact that I like have cover calls on $15. Again, think back when the stock was $4 or $5. That's when I did it. So because I thought that Rocket Lab wouldn't be 4x within a year, this is why I'm a Rocket Lab bear. And yeah, in hindsight, it was a huge mistake. I'm never going to do it again. I still made hundreds of thousands of dollars on Rocket Lab. I'm very happy with my result. Yes, it could have been millions of dollars. And I'm sure that it's going to happen on another stock when my time comes, and I make unbelievable life-changing gains. But it was so far not for me. Yeah, so I just wanted to address this. And if people want to hate me for this, it's a free country. You don't have to watch Rocket Lab Weekly. If you feel I trigger you in any way, again, you don't have to watch Rocket Lab Weekly. My purpose with this Rocket Lab Weekly has always been to just give information of the company, so you don't have to, if you want to keep up with the company, then it's enough to watch this, and then where the company is standing. It's not meant to be a circle jerk where we are just talking about anything that's happening with the company is bullish. I want to give honest opinions, and it's not meant to be financial advice. So I just want to show the facts, and then you guys need to do your research. And a lot of you have done it and held this stock, and I'm incredibly proud of you. And again, I get teary-eyed on the gains and some of the life changes that has happened to people, and I'm super happy for you. So I just felt that this needed addressing. And by the way, please let me know in the comments if you as an investor have made a mistake, because I think everyone makes a mistake. It's part of investing, and it's how you handle it, that makes you in the end a good investor.
Thank you, Sosifo Gordon. Well, for becoming a member, much appreciated. It's always nice to see new members joining. I think it's very funny, like the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? And so we always make these accommodations or like try to call out the people that are always poking fun at us, but yet we still have a very, very regular audience that shows up every week. If we were really doing things that were that poor or that bad, I think that we would lose viewership. But unfortunately, for those people that really wish us destruction, I think we continue to build a solid base. And I think people can see through some of the mistakes. We're not perfect. We're enthusiasts. We're not experts. And I'm just excited that we're able to be able to cover something like this. I mean, I'm just an enthusiast. I like the stock. I'm by no means an expert. Like I said, I'm an idiot when it comes to space. But at the end of the day, I'm intrigued by what the hell these guys are doing. And so congratulations to everybody. And I know people will probably clip parts of this stream and be like, Matt said this, he said that, and now the stock's back at $35. Like, he's an idiot. I'm sure the stock will go back to $35 at some point, and I really hope it does, so people can buy more stock and do whatever. But at the end of the day, it's about ups and downs, and the overall average will always be going up and to the right for this company, in my opinion, until until the mid 2035 time frame, mid 2030s, I should say. So, you know, as much as it's easy to see the people that comment, there's a lot of the silent majority that are continuing to show up week after week that are actually really enjoying the show. And I'll get like a random message from somebody I've never even seen before that doesn't show up in the chat, and they'll be like, "Thank you, you changed my life." And I'm like, I don't even know who the hell you are, but you know, and I'm like, I'm first and foremost, I'm not the one that changed your life, right? I'm just a guy that likes stocks that just happened to put it on the internet. Sir Peter Beck, rather, Adam Spice, you know, Alex Karp, those are the guys that are changing your life. I'm just a guy in some house in Houston that's just having a good time covering stocks on the internet, you know? So, excited to be here, excited to share this moment with you guys. Sorry, sorry, I'm not making any sense.
No. It was very good. Yes, and the same goes for me. Cool. So this was like the longest intro for Rocket Lab Weekly. So I think we can start the news. So what happened this week? It wasn't like a really big news week, but still some things have happened. So the first news that we start with is FCC license is granted for Neutron's maiden flight. So keep in mind that this is the communication permit. This is not the flight permit. I believe that is the FAA license, and this is the FCC license. And in this one, it still shows Neutron launching in 2025, which again shows that Neutron is not delayed, like I thought that it was. So yeah, what do you think about this news, Matt?
I mean, it just goes to show that a lot of things are happening in parallel. We don't know everything that's going on behind the scenes. Like you said, it doesn't necessarily guarantee, you know, everything's on track. But to me, you know, we're going to see small notes like this that show up. And I'm sure, you know, we're about 2.5 weeks away. I think it's early August when we'll see the 2Q results and what's going on with those. I anticipate actually it's probably that's 2 weeks. Yeah, 2.5 weeks away. I'm assuming it's the first week of August, sometime between the 4th and the 8th, if they haven't announced it as of yet. And I'm sure we'll hear more about this. I'm sure we'll hear more about some of the other testing that's either ongoing right now or concluding or getting close to conclusion. So it's exciting to see another milestone getting close to being checked off. I don't think this means that you can check off the permit button yet, but it's one step closer.
Yeah, it's half a permit.
Half a permit.
You have the permit to have telemetry on the rocket. Yeah. So the next piece of news is Rocket Lab shareholder letter came out, and this was part of their 10K form that was filed to the SEC. And again, nothing really new here. It's just Sir Peter Beck is still writing here that Neutron is going to fly later this year, which again shows that Neutron is not delayed. So I was incorrectly saying that it was. So I'm happy to see that he said this. By the way, I can't wait for earnings to I'm so curious what's holding back like Neutron, you know, because when you look at the milestones, it feels like everything is so much on track. Like the hot fires of the Archimedes engines should be looking good. You know, they were having the stage 2 qualified, and you know they had the parts made for like almost stage 1 since almost all of stage 1 since like the Q4 earnings. Like that was the pictures, I think, in the Q4 earnings report. So I think that they are doing a lot of additional testing that they were somehow not thinking with, or, you know, maybe on the test, like they came up with some data that, you know, like, oh, we, you know, like the engine is sensitive if, you know, like if we're flying and the temperature is a bit too high or the wind is a bit too strong. And then, so my guess is like that's where they are taking a bit more time. But yeah, what do you think, Sir Matt?
It's always nice to hear notes, right? And I think it goes to show that it's always worthwhile looking into these 10Qs, 10Ks, because there's always probably something more along than just the underlying numbers, right? Hearing color from the CEO about where they are in terms of progress and things alike is to me more meaningful than a quarterly check-in. A quarterly check-in, yes, it helps keep your finger on the pulse, but in reality, this quarter was baked in, and this is a famous Jeff Bezos thing. This quarter was baked in 10 quarters ago. Like the decisions that were being done today were an action of everything that's happened over the last 2.5 years, right? And a culmination of that. And this is kind of a progress check-in. So to hear verbiage like this and really understand where we're at and hearing from Sir Peter Beck kind of lets you know what are the things that you should expecting in 10 quarters from now, the next 2.5 years. So it's nice to have that little check-in and kind of see, okay, this is where we're at, this is where we're heading. So anyway.
All right. So we go over to the next one, and that is that last week we reported on that there is a Haste Electron rocket standing in Launch Complex 2 or 3. No, 2. Virginia is Launch Complex 2, and the Neutron is the Launch Complex 3. Sorry. So and then that one got delayed, and now it's officially moved to the 24th of July. So yeah, I don't know what we can comment on this. And just another additional Haste news. So Scotto, Rocket Lab OG, has found a French memo or note that basically is talking about France buying or flying a test airplane that is going to rival the American X-37B shuttle on Electron. So that means that, on Haste. So France is buying some Haste launch, and that was very big news for me this week. I just, before you go, Matt, I just wanted to say the reason why that is such a big news for me is because it shows that when they changed the focus to Europe, which they announced, I believe, after the Q4 earnings, that strategy is working, because it was a question if Europe would give all of its contracts to, only European companies. So clearly they're willing to deal with American companies despite all the trade wars and despite everything else. So that's number one, that is super bullish. Number two is they know that they're behind in space, and then there is an intention and an urgency to catch up. And I would guess that feeling is the same all over Europe, meaning not just France, but Germany, England, and all the countries that make up the European Union. Okay, not England, they left, but all the other countries. And that is potentially billions of dollars in potential contracts for Rocket Lab. So it's super bullish, but I don't know how to put that into any sort of model yet. I just feel that there's billions coming from Europe to Rocket Lab's way.
Yeah, it's not surprising to me. It's exciting, but not surprising. And first and foremost, on the left, I don't speak Spanish, so I'm glad that they translated on the. I'm just kidding. I know it's French, but at least I think it's French. Maybe it's not. Okay, very good. So apologies for my ignorance there. It's nice to see that's happening, but it's not surprising to me. I mean, just based off some of the research that I've seen specifically around hypersonics and the high flight agreement that happened in November of 2024 with Australia, the UK, the US, and how the spillover from the UK into those 5 key European nations, which I believe includes France. This is not surprising that you're continuing to see. I think this was highlighted. Like, people are now catching on to the fact that Haste will be an international and global opportunity. And we had that opportunity to speak with Sir Peter Beck probably a year ago, where he first opened my eyes to that. It was really when Haste has just started to kind of get its wings. I think this was like mid 2024 when we had this interview. And I asked him specifically, like, where could this be? It can be launching all over the world. And he answered yes. And so we're starting to see just a year later, really that come to fruition. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we see continued opportunities throughout all of Europe, potentially, or even the opportunity there's a launch pad in French Guyana where the European Space Agency launches. Maybe that's a different place that we could launch as well. It'd be awesome. Launching from 3 different continents, 4 different continents would be absolutely phenomenal to see. And to me, it just goes to show why I'm so bullish about the organization, because at least for most of these companies, they might be focusing specifically on the United States or specifically in China or Japan. This company is truly making diplomatic ties with every nation possible, at least as long as they're part of NATO, of course. So in that respect, or at least a United States ally, maybe not necessarily part of NATO, but at least a U.S. ally. So it's really interesting to see the fruition of what's going on. Really cool. And the thing that I like is that it seems like the people up top, Adam, Peter, they're a little bit more stable in terms of what they are doing in terms of building relationships. And it doesn't seem like I'm not trying to talk poorly about Elon, but Elon is a very, what am I trying to say? Polarizing figure, it seems like, versus Sir Peter Beck and Adam. They're a little bit, I don't want to say softer in terms of a bad way, but they're easier to make diplomatic ties with, I would anticipate, than someone like Elon, who might be a little bit more aggressive and maybe polarizing.
I think a very good comparison for Elon is he's like a woke version of a movie. And let me explain this thing. It's like, when you watch a movie or a story, it's like you just want to watch the movie. You don't want to have any like political issues in it, right? And then it's like Elon comes with like all his politics and this and that, and and then I think that certain governments, we just want no drama. We just want a company that is focused on rockets, and that's exactly what Rocket Lab does. So it's very easily palatable. Yeah. All right. So I think this was all the Rocket Lab news this week. Again, it was a very slow news week. I mean, it's the vacation times, so not much happening. So very soon I'm gonna post the link into the comments here. So if there's any one of you who has a very good success story on Rocket Lab that you guys want to share, like when you guys bought the stock, how you discovered it, and how much you're up, if you're not shy to say this and give a few words, then you're very welcome to come on the show. Yeah, so let me just put that link, if I can, in the comments. Here we go.
We're open for all feedback, positive or negative as well.
Yeah. Cool. And while we're going, so what do you think is driving the stock price of Rocket Lab? I wanted to take this topic because before the huge run up, when we were in the 20s, people were saying that, yeah, the Neutron anticipation, the stock should be $35 before Neutron launches, right? And Neutron has not launched yet, and yet the stock is at $50+. And I think that Neutron is not, I don't know how to say, I think that Neutron is sort of like taken for granted at this point, and people, like, the stock is not moving so much on that. What do you think about that, Matt?
I think people are starting to see the company deliver. They're starting to see the name show up more frequently in the news, and I think a lot of that. Hey, Curtis, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, Curtis.
And so with that, yeah, I just think it's, you have institutions starting to get more bullish on the company, prospects of it being closer to profitability. And of course, if you have a retail shareholder base and other institutions that aren't selling their shares, then you're going to have to raise the price to be able to get people to get the price that they want before they sell. So anyway, how are you, Curtis?
Yeah, you brought up something about, the institutional buyers now. Just everybody always says they're going to trim and buy back lower. That might have worked, a year ago. But, now that we're in the Russell 1000 or whatever, and, institutions are buying all the time, it's going to be tougher and tougher to get back down to those numbers that you want to buy back in at.
It's an easy thought as well, too, Curtis, right? Like, you have to be right twice. You have to be right when you sell, you have to be right when you buy.
Exactly. Well, and that's why I'm not selling a damn share.
Hell yes. Sorry.
So,
Curtis, you're an OG in this community. Do you mind giving us like a little backstory of like how you found Rocket Lab, when you started buying? Because I think you're really to me, you're like an inspiration, because
100%.
It's very easy to buy a stock, you know, when you bought low and then it starts going up. But you are someone who, you know, bought low, bought high, you know, was years, you know, waiting for the good results. And then the even harder part is you were not tempted to sell. You still hold all your shares, which is
unwavering.
Yeah, you know, we went into this, I think, last year when I was on, one of the other times I was on, but you know, I was buying it from the SPAC period, and but just not really paying attention. You know, I was just doing weekly, you know, automatic buys and letting it ride. Nothing big, but then obviously, you know, last year, you know, January, February, you know, when the price really went down, that's when I really started going in. And I mean, I sold everything I had to get in here. I liquidated all my stocks in basically all my accounts, went all in. I've built a lot of that back up in other holdings now, because I'm not buying Rocket Lab anymore. But you know, when the opportunity came up, when they were down like the 350s, it was just like it's you know, it's now or never. You know, got to go in. And I think I was up to, I don't know, 40,000 by like last October. I hit 60,000 and I stopped buying, period. And that was just after the first of this year. But that was after selling a lot of property I had. I mean, I was selling, you know, I even had my Jeep up for sale at one point, but I never did sell the Jeep. But
But yeah, you had a really cool thing that I think that it was really cool for me. It stood out to me. So correct me if I'm wrong, but you were buying $100 a day. Just
I still do. I'm not in Rocket Lab, but that's something I've done for years and years and years and years. Obviously, as years have gone on, my daily dollar amount has gone up. But years and years ago, you know, I mean, I was doing $5 a day, you know, and then I went up to $10 a day, $20 a day, just automatic buys in what I want to go into. I did stop buying Rocket Lab just because it's become way too big of a percentage of our portfolio, and it's not because of my investment amount that I've put into it. It's because of obviously the share price increase. But
can I ask a question?
But I'm in a good position. I'm not complaining.
Yeah. So for you being where you're at, we've talked, and we're supposed to talk again later this weekend.
Yeah, I'll call you that.
But the question I have for you, which is unrelated to Rocket Lab, but more just general advice for the people that are listening. I'm sure we have a couple hundred people that are watching live right now, and then I'm sure we're going to have people, you know, potentially thousands watching later. But I want them to hear somebody else say this other than myself, that maybe it'll knock it home. You've said you started at 5, you went to 10, you went to $100 a day. Do you contribute a lot of your success to that consistency of investing, not just once, but investing daily or even monthly to where you are today and your success? Or do you think that really your success has been magically picking some magical stock?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Rocket Lab is a pretty unique situation for a lot of us. But yeah, that consistent investing is what it's all about. You know, you got to do it. In fact, I've you know, taken one of my employees under my arm and helped him set up an account, and had him, you know, helped him set up every paycheck he's putting in $50, and he's reinvesting the dividends in that particular ETF that he's buying, and you know, and he's in his late 20s, and until I sat down with him and I went over the numbers, he didn't realize if he just does this consistently every damn paycheck for the next 30 years, I mean, he's basically building his retirement right now. It's just not going to happen for 30 years, but you know, but it's all about that determination. And I've told him, going through this whole process with him, you know, doesn't matter what's going on in your life, consider that money that you've put away gone. It's not accessible. Just, you know, keep at it. Put that money, every paycheck that you're doing, reinvest the dividends, and forget about it. And it's funny because I started that with him, probably like 6 months ago. And the other day I asked him, I said, hey, how many shares you got in SPY now? And he's like, I don't know. You told me not to ever look at it. And I was like, good man. So, I think it's very important. That's just the way you got to build it up. I mean, you can't just, expect that all of a sudden one day you're going to have $1 million in your pocket and you can throw it into the market.
Yeah. I do want to chime in here. Cartic, if you're driving, brother, I don't want you to on camera while you're driving, just for safety purposes. So just don't want to make sure that you get in an accident or anything. More than happy to chat with you, but hopefully you're in safe hands.
Let's stop. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Let me stop a car. Yeah, 1 second.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That exact mindset, Curtis, I think has allowed me to put me in a situation where I don't need to sell Rocket Lab right now.
Exactly.
I could be in a sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but one thing don't ever forget too is, you can have a big event like Rocket Lab in your portfolio, and it can change your position dramatically, but don't stop doing it just because of that. It's a habit that you should, until you retire, or as long as you have income coming in, it's something you should do over and over and over. Whether it's I do daily buys, obviously, that's just because of where I'm at, but whether it's a weekly buy, monthly buy, just you got to keep at it and don't stop doing it. If you end up retiring and you have no income coming in, fine, then so be it. But don't ever stop that habit, because it's probably one of the best habits to have as an investor.
I mean, you're a shining example of it, because I think it's no secret that your portfolio is very big at this point. A dream portfolio for a lot of people. So,
well, before anybody else gets on, I'll close out with this. Last spring, I made my prediction that Rocket Lab would be $15 by the end of 2024, and it closed at 25. And at the end of 2024, I made a prediction. I hope we'll get to 35 by the end of 2025. I'm going to keep making my predictions because I suck.
You should.
And every time I make a prediction, it just goes way, way beyond it. So I'm just going to keep at it.
Yeah, it's so interesting that when I sold my cover calls, it's also this thing, like we had the whole Rocket Lab weekly crew, and everybody was giving their prediction, and I would say that we're we should know about Rocket Lab, right? Like, because we are like following it every week. It's like all the experts from the field.
We don't know shit.
Exactly. I mean, like the stock price is going to do what it's going to do. It's like impossible to time the market. So again, we come back to that. That's why you did it so correctly, that you just bought, every day, and you just kept at it for a long time, and you had an amazing result. So,
well, and you guys too. Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah.
And to everybody in that's watching the video, congratulations to everybody.
Yeah. Congratulations. Thank you.
Time.
Thank you so much, guys. Curtis, for
good seeing you, Curtis.
You're a legend.
All right, take it easy.
Thank you, brother.
Ciao.
Ciao. All right, Cartic, thank you so much for coming on the show. So please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Cartic. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and really appreciate, especially Matt. Even though like I am owning Rocket Lab from long time, like when it IPO'd, like it was around $15. Even I did some small position there, and that's how it helps. But the interview Matt did with Amit for 1 hour, that really changed my perspective. So thank you, Matt.
No, absolutely. Glad we were able to get the visibility of the company.
Yeah, and I have been investing for a long time. I have some big winner, but after Tesla, this percentage wise, this is the second time I was able to do like a 1200% for any stock.
Wow.
So
congratulations, brother.
Yeah, and as a retail investor, that is the reason when we do invest ourselves and when we are confident, we can make it big position. Generally, like if fund manager and all of them, they cannot do that. but we can make a big position because I mean most of the many times we know that okay, this has a good chances of success, and also like so that really helps. Yeah, so appreciate you guys doing this.
Yeah.
For review.
Cartic, do you mind me asking? Are you holding? Are you selling? Are you continuing to buy?
So I because it's a very big position, and I'm going to do some use some money in like next 1 or 2 months for one very good purpose. So that's why I trimmed it. Like I trimmed it around 20% of my position, and the reason I did it is because I need those money like within the next 2 to 3 months. Otherwise,
Awesome.
I would not have done.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I know in long term. I mean, we know the company is going to do much better. Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah, was this expense part of your plan, or is this like a unforeseen expense, or?
This is part of the plan.
Good.
Yeah, so this is
Good.
part of the plan. So yeah, I mean, because especially because in market we know in a short term it's tough to predict. So that is the reason. But yeah, I mean, appreciate. And many times people say that okay, normal people should not invest in single stock, but I think people should try to do that. That this Rocket Lab is a great example. I mean, Rocket Lab. I mean, there are many other companies like Tesla and for retail investor, and they changed the life for many retail investor. I mean, it's just you put a small time of your small time, and you do a little bit of study, and maybe it goes long way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a demonstration that people like yourself can be very successful if they put in due diligence. But I guess my question is like, did you stumble upon Rocket Lab by chance, or did you do a lot of due diligence? Because I think a lot of times people are like, oh, retail investors should invest, but you yourself probably spent hours researching Rocket Lab before you made an initial investment, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was always looking for to do investment in SpaceX, and I mean, of course, many retail investors missed it. And then when Rocket Lab came, did IPO, we all knew. I mean, at least I knew it's expensive right now. When we see price to sales ratio or anything, we knew it is expensive. But many times as a retail investor, we can wait for okay company to become cheap, and we can. I mean, we don't have to show like yearly performance or year to day performance to anyone. So even I mean I had a small share like okay 500 share from $15 price. I did, even if it went to 3, I was fine with that. Okay, because I knew in the long term it happens, and it has happened many times with me. I mean many other companies like Tesla that I bought, and it went like a 30 to 40% down or 50% down. But when we know the company is good, and it will always bounce back. It's just we have to give some time. Good company requires some time. Good investment requires time. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned something really that struck home with me. Believe it or not, the reason why I invested in Google back in 2019 or 2020 is because they owned a part of SpaceX. And then I had eventually found, and did more research and fell in love with the company for other reasons. But that was my original reason for investing in Google was SpaceX, actually. And because I didn't have the opportunity to invest in it.
Yeah. Even, I mean, I'm not sure if you guys know, the Shift 4 payment also has some SpaceX on their SpaceX investment. And yeah. I mean, unfortunately, that guy could not become a NASA's chairman. But yeah, and Shift 4 has a investment in a SpaceX too. Yeah.
Cool. Well, it's good to hear from you. Do you have any other stocks that you're particularly looking at other than Tesla and Rocket Lab at the moment?
So I mean, I have some position in Lemonade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you hate Steve then?
No. I mean, number wise, it makes sense. Whatever he's saying, numbers wise, it makes sense, of course, right? But yeah, I could see the long time. I mean, and of course, I mean, I can be wrong, but I can see the long time they can become profitable, and they can they can generate the revenue without like more without not more expense because of automation. Yeah.
I don't know enough about it, so I know Steve is very cut and dry, doesn't make money. That's why I didn't invest in Rocket Lab.
And Steve's investment style is different. We can understand. Like many
exactly.
different people have a different investment style, so we can understand. I mean, there is nothing wrong about it.
But it goes back to your retail investor sort of thought process, right? Like certain institutions, and this is part of the benefit that I think that Rocket Lab is yet to see, is certain institutional investors can't invest in companies until they get into the Russell 1000. That's why we're seeing an influx. Certain companies can't invest until it gets into, or until it's profitable. Some can't until it's cash flow positive. Some can't until it's in the S&P. So in that respect, it's like we don't have that restriction, and so we can find things early. And there's, I think, a beautiful trend that I'm seeing around companies that are just getting to the point where they're getting towards profitability, because then once they get to the profitability, they're founder-led, really great companies that are very in tune with the retail shareholder base. They get a lot of catalysts as they go through all those markers, and you're seeing that with Robinhood. You're seeing that with a lot of companies like Rocket Lab right now, and I'm sure once it hits profitability, it's going to blow up in a positive manner.
By the way, it's so interesting how people say that the stock market is rigged for Wall Street, and then I think the stock market is rigged for the retail investor, because it's so crazy that they have all these rules. Like they see like the best opportunity ever, and then they cannot invest into it because they have this stupid rule that it's not profitable or it's not in the Russell 1000, and there's other rules, like for example, no position can be. I think if you're an ETF, like no position can be more than 20% of your portfolio. So, and I saw Gene Munster, actually, I think he was on CNBC, and they asked him like, you were a Tesla bull and how much money did you make on it? And he was like, not so much, because just when the run up started, like Tesla was reclassified into like a large cap, and then his fund is only investing in mid caps or something. So he's like, per the fund rules, we were like obligated to sell. And I'm like, so yeah, as a retail investor, we can make a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, there is no restriction on us. No one is going to ask us what is the year-to-date performance.
Exactly.
And we can think in 5 years, we can think in 10 years. So that helps us. Yeah.
Exactly. Awesome, Cartic. Thank you so much for coming on.
Nice meeting you, brother.
Yeah, very nice meeting you.
Are you on Chris's Discord as well, or no?
I think I am, but I'm following you guys on Cash Chronicle. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Excellent. Nice meeting you in person.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Yeah. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, we have a new one who came into the chat.
What's up, brother? I like the hat.
Men's on Mars. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How you doing?
You have a radio voice. I love that.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, I've been watching you guys since you started doing the show. It's been fantastic. So thank you. Congrats to everybody as well. And let me know if my my signal is a little bit choppy here. But
dude, you have like the best voice and camera setup out of all.
Yeah, you're great, bro.
All three.
Thanks, Vince. That means a lot coming from you. I'll start my radio show next week.
Good. Send us the link.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to say, though, and I kind of mentioned, I was joking about it in the comments, with Astra. So, when everything SPAC'd, 2021, right? There was probably 8 to 10 space companies. I approached it kind of like venture investing in a sense, hoping that at least one will go big. And that's kind of the philosophy that I took. And, it's paid off very, very well. But I think a couple of things that stood out is, number one, when Astra's rocket went sideways, and then we all know what happened with them developing that product and then the company itself. I think that was fantastic contrast to looking at good leadership with Rocket Lab, looking at their products, looking at the vertical integration, looking at how they're approaching execution. And so contrasting that, I saw the opportunity and then went all in. Not as much as Curtis, but enough to where it's definitely game changing.
That is awesome. Congratulations. I mean, the people who are like investing have been investing since the not IPO, but the SPAC merger. I mean, they're true legends, because the people who came, like for example, I came when the stock was already down and beaten, but you guys were like 3 years before. You saw the stock go from $10 to $21 and then slowly come all the way down to $4. And I think that the people who came in the last 1 to 2 years. Like, they're not thinking with this that you had to sit through 3 years of freaking pain and the stock not going like anywhere, and still keeping the conviction. So I really have super high respect for those people. And a lot of you, for funny enough, have also bought Astra and lost money on that. So I guess it's just part of the game.
And then also seeing too, one more company, and then I'll clear the airways here and I'll hop off. But as we saw the hype machine get going, people didn't really understand space. I'm not an expert. I'm fascinated by it. I do astrophotography. There's a lot of things I love about space, and I have my entire life, so I've had a passion. And so when the opportunity to invest in a business angle and aspect kind of aligned with the passion part, and I'm sure others on this on this channel also perhaps have maybe similar experiences, but that was just it was like everything was going into place perfectly, and you don't get opportunities like that all the time. You just got to go with your gut at the end of the day. But seeing Virgin Galactic, seeing what happened there when it went to $60, not because they had necessarily a good business model or making money, but seeing people don't understand the whole space economy. It's still emerging. I know there's been big defense contractors, and we've known the whole space thing for a long time, but not even close on Main Street or the retail side for most people. So yeah, follow your interests, follow your passions, and it will hopefully make you some money someday.
Interesting. Are you buying more then? Are you selling, trimming?
Yeah. So let's see. Right now we have, I don't know, we're about 24,000 shares or so. And
Congratulations.
so we averaged at about $5. So it's been a nice return for sure. I'm not buying any more currently. You know, when you have an average that low, it's tough. I'd rather diversify at this point and never sell this thing and let this thing go to at least 2030, like a lot of folks are. I just think there's there's unrealized problems that we're going to face geopolitically, et cetera, that we don't even know perhaps might exist, or something might happen 3-4 years from now, 5 years from now. And Rocket Lab is perfectly positioned to capitalize on that. You just can't predict it, but they will be one of these companies that the U.S. government turns to. They already are. I really hope we win the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter and all that stuff and the return, but we'll see what happens.
Eloquently put, man. Really eloquently put. Really
Good
well.
stuff, guys. Hey, well, I appreciate it. Thanks for everything you're doing. We love watching you guys.
No, thank you, brother, and appreciate you coming on. And hopefully we can hear that radio voice in the future.
Exactly. Thanks for
Right
coming
back
on.
over to you, Vince.
There you go.
So much.
Later, guys.
Ciao. It's so funny when someone comes on and then they have like a better setup than you or me.
Yeah, my setup is garbage. I need to.
I
talk
think
to
your
Tanner.
setup is like 10x as good as mine. I
No.
saw somebody commented it's Vince's show, and then Matt is like looking so much better in the camera. So I don't know if that was a diss or he was just yeah. But do you have an extra camera on or is your laptop camera that you're?
No, this is not a laptop camera. I mean, if you see some of my early videos, I mean, I would always be dragged through the some of my early videos. It was like the laptop computer microphone, and you can hear like the fan in the background. It sounds like a train is running behind me. Like it's So over the years, I've slowly increased the quality, but even still, I think this is just like a normal, probably office like camera. It's not like a studio level camera. I need to be more like Vince. They're not Vince, Amit or Tanner, and get an actual physical camera, because there's a really good spot right here that you could have one like literally pointed, and it would be perfect for the room, because it's right in the corner, so you could see behind me.
Yeah, we slowly upgrade. I mean, luckily, I think how we look and it's not the most important in this line of business. It's the information that we provide, and yeah. Cool.
I mean, that equipment's not cheap, and we don't make much money from YouTube, so it's more so for the help.
And we're not gonna sell shares to buy equipment.
No, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not gonna sell shares. So if I find a couple $100 extra in my checking at the end of the month, maybe I'll end up buying a camera.
Yeah. So by the way, I just want to touch on something that Mans on Mars said. which I find to be so true. Like he said that, you know, you have these companies and then you just never know what happens in the future. And on all of my big winners, you have Palantir. I mean, Tesla, I was like, I made a little bit of money on it, but I was not there for the 2019 increase. And, you know, Rocket Lab, it's like, as you said also, it's a moving target, you know. So when you make your model and you model out what the company can be, the good founders, they surprise you, and then they surprise you, and then they surprise you, and then they surprise you. So like, you never know. Like, I didn't know Palantir was going to come out with AIP, and, you know, and then do all the things that they were going to do. I didn't know Tesla was going to be self-driving robotics, and you know what? It's like completely different from when you first met the company. And yeah, I don't know how you can model that in, but it's just something to keep in mind, that these things do happen with great founders.
Well, it's precisely it, right? I mean, when I first invested into the company, I was buying, you know, during the de-SPAC days, and I was
Sorry,
like, I think
sorry. There is a person in the comment, Olga Ospima, and people are telling her to come on. Apparently, she has a very good story. And Olga, don't be shy. If you come on, we would welcome you. And
100%.
Yeah, so,
I've been in circles with her, you know, Twitter groups or whatever, but I've never met her person to person. So it'd be great to finally meet her person to person. But going back to what you said, I mean, if I just listen and put a target in the sand and said, yep, if it gets to the $15-20 billion, I'm going to sell. I'm sure you can find videos in my backlog of, or my repertoire rather, not a backlog, videos of that I've done in the past where I've said $15 to $20 billion, right? And that has slowly jumped from 15 to 20 to 25 to 30 to 50 billion to now what I'm anticipating to be 100 billion. And that's all because of they've added Haste. They've added more satellite constellations. They've added their own constellations. So in that respect, you know, you kind of have to move your price target as that shows up.
Yeah, very smart words. They added Europe also, things we didn't think we.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, it seems like this Olga is not coming on. Maybe next time. You can. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. But yeah, I think this is a good time to end the show. I again want to congratulate anyone and everyone in the Rocket Lab community. Really, really great job. And, you know, certain people are inspirations in this. You know, certain people were just lucky and, you know, bought at 5, and then a few months later we're at 50. You know, congratulations for you. But what really gets my respect is the people since the IPO who have been, you know, continuously buying, you know, month after month, and they have been through, like, they went from 21 to $4. That is 80% plus down. And, you know, they kept the conviction. And what's even more important is they kept on the buying. And then on the way up, despite all the temptations, they still have the positions. You guys are really, really legends.
Mm-hmm.
And you are one of them, Matt.
Well, yeah. And I want to say to everybody, I mean, congratulations to everybody that's held shares. More so, congratulations to the folks at Rocket Lab. I'm sure they were 24 months ago, they were feeling really garbagey, $2 billion market cap. Why are we doing this? The market doesn't value us. And now here you are valued. You know, I always saw the value. That's why I was investing in you guys. And so luckily it's paid off for all of us. And hopefully you guys have made some good money as well. And hopefully now you feel a little bit more empowered, and you feel like the vision that Peter has put in front of you guys is valiant and purposeful. And not only, you know, will that help from a capitalistic standpoint, but also make you feel good inside. And that's what really matters. But going back to what you stated about, you know, people making money and everything like that, I just want to iterate to people, you know, Garcia said a really good post, because I guess a lot of people are out there trying to fear people into not selling, you know, and at the end of the day, it is personal finance. And so I always want to recommend to people, really take your own situation into account. I'm fortunate that I can take on the risk of not selling Rocket Lab. If anybody saw the amount of shares that I have and they'd be sitting there, they'd be like, you'd be crazy, right, to not sell and diversify and do all these things. But I have a life that I've built, with several other avenues that I can be afforded the opportunity to put my hands into Peter's, bucket and say, let's see where this rides. And, I have that fortunate opportunity. I'm 34, single, don't have a family to care for. And I already have a house. I have a car, I have everything that I ever wanted. So in that respect, I have this opportunity to kind of play this game of, hey, I believe in space. I believe in Sir Peter Beck and the company and everyone that's working there. They haven't let me let me down yet. And I'm sure they're going to continue to surprise me with all the innovations and things they have in store. Let's continue to trust them. And, but that's not the case for everybody. And so I want people to seriously think, just because I'm not selling, you're like, oh, Matt, he's our guy in the retail community that's going to lead us to the truth. I don't have your bills. I don't have your family. I don't have those things that, you might be planning for at the end of the day. So by no means would I call you a coward by selling any shares, selling out of the whole thing. My hope is that you don't do it emotionally, though. My hope is that you don't do it because you think that you're going to be able to buy back in at a cheaper price. My hope is that if you do it, you use it for something that you had in your plan all along, whether it was a wedding, a house, something that was put into place for the objective of you investing in the first place, not because you think that you're going to be smarter than everybody else and be able to get 10 additional shares, 10% more additional shares by selling at the right price, buying back at the right price. It's not what I'm hoping for you. What I'm hoping is that you're able to live your life. And at the end of the day, we all invest for a purpose. And so for me, my purpose is fun. I have a hobby, it's investing. And for me, my fun right now is trying to figure out at the end of the day what number I can get to within a reasonable time frame. I don't have anything else other than playing this game of life. So for me, until I find a different purpose, that's all I kind of have. But that's not necessarily what everyone else's objectives are. So just because I'm doing something doesn't mean follow along with it. Same thing when I'm investing in Next Decade or Venture Global or all these other things. Think about your family first. Think about your objectives, and don't let anybody bully you into, if you sell your shares, you're a bad person. And that's why I came on as mad as bearish today, right? Like I'm not, everyone is just like, oh, if you're selling, you're a huge bear. It's just like you can still believe in the company and be trimming because you have your own personal obligations. Hell, the executives of the company do the same thing. They have their own personal obligations. They'll sell off 1 million shares here, 500,000 shares there, and everyone speculates, what are they doing? Are they bearish of the company? Is it going to zero? But at the end of the day, we all have our own personal things that we have to worry about. So just keep that into context, and don't let anyone be mean to you or bully you. And if they do, shrug them off. You have your own life to live. And at the end of the day, my hope is that you're able to buy that new car you wanted. You're able to buy that new house. Say you have a family of 4 and you have a 3-bedroom house and you want your daughter to have her own room. That's very awesome of you to be able to provide. So
you just read my mind.
Amen.
That's exactly me.
Amen.
4 kids and daughter needs her own bedroom.
There you go.
Yeah. Cool, Matt. Really great wisdom. I look up to you and try to be more like you and Curtis every day.
No, I try to be like you, man. You're winning at life in a different way. And, just because I'm doing well in the stock market doesn't mean I'm doing well other places. So we both have to learn from each other.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. Congratulations again. And see you, everyone, next week.
Thanks all.